Yeah, let me change this in this way. I will put in the different code at the end of the previous one. Okay, now this is our code. Actually, I will copy the entire things and put a small change. If in the range m equal to d equal to 20y, else if m 4, 6, 9, 11, d equal 30, else d 31. I will remove the first part. Saving it as M2 and run it. Say 4 gives a correct one. 0 invalid month. 13 again now invalid month. Any other number within the range, give the correct one. Now this is the code. Reason is when I am changing this all the steps, I have put some indentation, no, because I put the outside if then else part there, right? Then all the inside statement I have to indent further to the right side, right? In Python, their indentation is more important. Otherwise, not like other languages. I will do the smaller change. The change is we give the user the chance input the month until he put the correct one. If we put minus say 0, we will ask again. If we put 13, we ask again, right? We can repeat that process until we got the new one. We can easily do this using while loop. Here I am putting a while loop there before getting the input into the computer. While m not in range 1 comma 13, then the issue is we have to define y value of m before this one. Say we give a dummy one first, m equals 0. Incorrect one, it should be an incorrect one, right? While because right, we have to repeat the entering input command until we get the correct one. Okay, m equals 0 at the beginning while m not in range, then we can get this input. Now we don't need to put the this one, no. If we put the incorrect one, it will ask again. We should remove this part, right? We don't need to put the else part here. Now the issue is if we put the code in this way, it give a error message because of the indentation, right? Invalid indentation, because everything is belongs to the while statement now, right? Therefore we have to put in this way. That's the easy way, right? Press enter and get the line below into that position. Else part is there, right? Let's run this one. Month value 0. It will ask again. Say 13, ask again. Minus 9, ask again. Until we give a correct one. If we put 4, give the correct one. This one is much better than the previous one, no? It will repeatedly ask a correct one and give the answer. This is a code. We input only these 2 lines, right? To get the repetition. While m not in range 1 comma 13, m input, repeat, we ask the input. Until we get the correct one, we repeat the input command. Yeah, we can use another one for conditional one to find out the leap year. Right? If you are entering a year value in 4 digits, the output should be whether it's a leap year or not. Let me do that one first, right? Write the simple one. If y divided by 4 equals 0, in other words, it's exactly divided by 4, then we can write print y is a leap year. Else print is not a leap year. That's a very basic program. It will ask here 2021. 2021 is not a leap year. Last year 2020 is a leap year. Say 2000 is a leap year. 2100 is a leap year. Let me check whether it's a leap year or not. 1900. Say it's a leap year. If you can find out the calendar, right? Say 1900 is not a leap year. The reason is within a century, we can find out leap year using this method. But the correct way is, this is not the universal algorithm to find the leap year. Right? Now the definition of leap year is, a leap year is exactly divisible by 4 except for century years. Then 2000 is okay, it's a century year. 2100 is a century year. 1900 century year. Now what's the next one? The century year is a leap year only if it is perfectly divided by 400. If we can divide by 400, a century year or year ending with 00 is a leap year. Now we can go back to the code. Say now 1900, 1900 is a leap year. It's incorrect, no? Should be divided by 400. We can't divide by 400. Again 2100 is again we can't divide exactly by 400. It's not a leap year. 2000 is okay because we can divide it by 400, right? Then how do you write the code for that one? We can modify this one. We can check that one. If y divided by 4 equals 0, we can't say it's a leap year. We have to check whether it's a century year or not. But how do you find the century year? Within the previous nest if loop, that's a nested one. If y divided by 100 to find out the century year. Any year we can divide by the 100 is equals no reminders. Then y modulus, we call it modulus, no? 100 is 0. If it century year, it should be divided by, we have to divide it by 400 then get 0. Y 0. Then it is a leap year. It should divided by 4. Then if it is a century year, then it should be divided by the 400. What's the else part of this loop? If it cannot divide it by 400, then it's not a leap year. Right? If any century year cannot divide it by 400, it's not a leap year. Then there's another else there. Here. Divided by 100. Now else means if it's not divided by 100. If the year can divide exactly by 4 and it is not a century year, then it should be a leap year. Now this else is for this part, right? Okay, then we should have another else. That's a topmost if else. If we cannot divide the year by 4, comes to this area, right? It's not a leap year. Okay, 2021. It's not a leap year. That's correct. 2020 is a leap year. Okay. 2000 is a leap year. 1900 it's not a leap year. Now it's give a correct one, right? 2100 it should not be a leap year, right? Right now our code is correct. It's a universal one up to certain years, no? I think now you can understand the condition thing, no? How to use conditional nested condition loops within inside the if then else we can cite more nested loops. Okay. Then go back to the strings, string formatting. Now when you are writing print statement, we are using several methods. Before Python 3.6, right, we had two main type of string formattings expressions. One is percentage formatting, right? It's beginning from the Python program. We use that one, percentage formatting. Other one is string dot format commands implemented in Python 2.6. Let's try the normal one and the first one. Now in each example, we use the print command without using any of these things, formatting command. Just put the answer. I am writing a small example. Say name Fernando. Get another variable called age. Say 49. And print statement. I want to write hello, put a comma, Mr. Fernando, full stop. Then you are 54, then full stop. To write that one, because I want to write in this one. Hello, Mr. Fernando. You are 49. Or put the full stop at the end. How do you write this one? The normal print parameters, we have to write hello, comma, Mr. Right. After that, the variable name. Then we had to put the full stop again, or we can put uh, after full stop, you are, and the variable age. I have to remove this comment. Now you get the correct output. Hello, Mr. Fernando. Full stop is coming in that way. You are 49. That's the issue, no? We don't need the space after the letter O of Fernando. Instead of comma, we can put that one here. Now it comes, no? Hello, comma, Mr. Fernando, full stop. You are 49. Again, we have to put another full stop at the end. Plus integer and string. We can't combine that one here. What we can do is we can convert into a string, right? Let's try whether it's working or not. Now, okay, no? Hello, Mr. Fernando, you are 49. Remember now I had to write in the long list here, no? Several commas, several quotation mark, right? This sometimes if it's a very lengthy statement, it's very difficult to write in this way, right? It's not the easy one. If you miss a one symbol, you will get the different output, right? That's why we are using percentage format command to get that one. When we are using the percentage command, I am writing with the same line with the percentage one, right? Now we will get the two outputs. Now in the percentage formatting command, we can write in this one slightly better than the previous one. Hello, Mr. Now rather than comma, we pass the percentage and s, right? Percentage and some variable here, right? Full stop, we need that one. You are, again, another variable. Percentages. Remember where I used this technique when accessing MySQL database through Python. We use that one, right? When passing some parameters. After that, we need the full stop. That's the string, complete string. We put it into a single statement with the double quotation mark. After that, we have to put the percentage, all the parameters, variables, age. Now this one is very something better than the previous line, easily understand and easily write that one. Let's try whether we get the same output. Yeah, we got exactly the same output using two different methods. Second one is technique is much better than the previous one. Then we have to find out why percentage formatting isn't great. Now we see some examples. Code examples that you just saw are readable enough. No, we can read this a very simple one, right? However, once we start using several parameters and longer strings, our code will quickly become much less easily readable. If I have a 2-3 lines statement, then it's not a very attractive readable statement. Then comes the in Python 2.6 start the string format command. Right? That's a newer way of getting the same job introduced in Python 2.6. Right. I will write the same statement using string format command. Hello, Mr. Here use curly brackets. Right? It's a curly brackets. We have to put the full stop. As a single line, we can write our strings putting some parameters. Instead of variables, we put the curly brackets. You are put the curly brackets. Now first curly bracket is for name. Second curly bracket is for the age. Right? Again, we need to put the dot as we need that one. Right? Now we close that one as a single statement, single line, single character set within double quotation mark. Now our first one, we have several parts in the double quotation mark. No, right. After that, put the format. After format, we can pass the variables. Now the third one is better than the percentage one. Easily readable one. Let's try that one. Right. We got the same output. Right. Then we change the F format, call F format, string formatting. Sorry, I made one mistake there. First one is before Python 3.6. Second one is in Python 3.6. Right? That's the later part is Python 3.6. Right? We use the F strings or call formatted string literals. I will introduce that one in the next line. Print. We start with the letter F. It's either simple F or capitalist F, doesn't matter. Right? F. After that, within double quotation mark, we have to write everything. Mr. Name, you are. After that, we need the full stop. We can easily write there. Right? In previous one, we have every time we had to put the double quotation there. No, right. Now you can see the last line is more readable than all three above lines. No, that we can easily understand. Hello, Mister. We can put the we replace the name parameter by his name and the age parameter by age. We got the same output. That's the Python in 3.6. They introduce F format or F string formatting. In general things, normally we are writing just print statement with the usual standard variables thing, right? But we can use these techniques. Right? When you are writing a complex statement, we can easily use that one. Right? That's a string format. I will go a little bit about strings and loop. Get the variable x. String variable. Good morning, teachers. That's a string variable. We can use for I in x like a range. What the output you get? Same character string, but character by character in downwards, line by line. Good morning, teachers. I think you already know how to get the output in the horizontally. We can use the end parameter. Right. This time you get it in the horizontally. Right. We use the end command. Right. End command at the end to, without any new line, print the statement. I am introducing one simple statement here. If I equal, now here I am putting the space and put break. That's all. If the character is a space, we put the break. Because once you find the space character, it will terminate the for loop. That's a usage of break. We use it in several places. I am changing this in a different way. I put the continue. Else print. I'm copying this one and remove that part. Now we can think, if you find the space character, just continue means is passed to the next one without doing any other things, without going to the below one printing. If it's not the space character, it will normally print. The output is good morning teachers without any blank spaces. Why we ask our code to bypass. If you find the space character, do not print that one, go to the next one. That's the meaning of continue. How do you find the length? Print in, no? It gives 21. 21 means how many actual alphabet characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 alphabet characters plus 2 space characters give the 21. If you want to find out how many characters without any space, without calculating the space, then we have to do, then the length function is not working. We have to follow normal loop. Say we can take a value variable c for counting, initially 0. Put a small for loop I in x c plus c plus 1. Increment increase the counter by 1. Print c. Again it's give the 21. Now how we can remove the space lines, space characters and count that one. Before counting, we can ask, we can do the same thing, no? If I equal space continue, else count. If it is space, we ask computer do not count and go to the next one. That's the continue on. Now gives 19 without counting that one. We can modify this in several ways, no? If you want to find out how many characters of letter O, finding the number of characters with letter O. We don't need that one. This time we are counting only this condition satisfy if I equal O. Otherwise we ignore that one. What's answer? Answer is 3. There are 3 letters, 3 O letters, no? O characters there. Right. Likewise, we can change this program any requirement. If I want to find out how many vowels in this statement, we can easily write this time not the O. If I in, we can check A, E, I, O, U. Then we count. If the character is in any of these letters, we count. It says 7. Check that one. What are the 7 vowels there? 3 O's. Then I. 4, 5, 6 EA. 7 another E. No? There are 7 vowel characters there. Let me change the character string in this way. I am changing the character string. Say one of our participant name. Okay. Let's find out how many vowels in that name. It says 7. Let me know whether it's correct or not. I see 8 vowels there. Are you agree with me? There are 8 vowels. In Indunil, we have 2 I and 1 U. That's 3. In Mallika Arachi, we have A, I, A, I. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 vowels in the second part and the 3 vowels in the first part. But our answer gives 7. It should be 8, no? Why is that one? What we can do is the first letter I is a capital one. Now in our set, we have all lowercase ones. Right? Then we have to put the capital set again in set. But it's not practical. But we can do before checking the letter I, this every character, we are converting it into a lowercase using this one. I lower. That function will convert into a lowercase. Now run it. It gives 8. Right? Now is the correct answer.